Good evening again, and welcome to Celebrity Spotlight Live. Our guest this evening is the epitome of and the description of a phenomenal woman. She is none other than Dr. Catrina Pullum. Dr. Pullum is an inspirational speaker. She's a visionary coach. She is a producer, and she's a manager and an entrepreneur. Dr. Pullum, I want to say that you are a triple threat, but I can't say that because you're more than a triple threat. I would. It's the truth. I would have to say that you are a quadruple plus threat. And we can begin this Celebrity Spotlight Live conference call tonight on so many different levels because you're multidimensional. But where I would like to get started, Dr. Pullum, is this. You're the author of a book called Breaking the Chains. And I would like for you to start from there. What inspired you to write such a book? Was it your own experiences? Was it experiences of those around you? Or where did you get the inspiration to write such a book, which is it's great, and it's such a needed topic and subject to discuss as well?
The book is actually an intro of my personal experiences that I've had, that I have had, and so I've had some of my counterparts, my spiritual leaders, tell me that it was time for me to tell my story. I'm a very intimate person, so I normally operate in smaller settings, and so in that, I told them the only reason that I would agree to write the book is if I can share it with the world and not just let it sit on the shelf. Because when I write the book, I want the book not only to help me heal, but to help others heal as well.
That's right. Exactly. So it came from your own personal experience. And I tell you, Dr. Pullum, women and men, especially women, we have gone through so much. I mean, I think almost every woman who's over the age of 15 or 20 could probably write a book because we go through so much in life, and if it wasn't for the Lord or our faith in God, I'm telling you, many of us just would not make it. Share with us tonight, Dr. Pullum, some of the other facets of who it is that you are, because as I stated earlier, you define what a phenomenal woman is because you're so multidimensional and there are so many different facets to you. Share some of the other things with us tonight that you are involved in and that you do.
Okay. Well, I am a national advocate since this is October for domestic violence victims. I am also a national advocate and a humanitarian for child abuse, for especially child sexual abuse. So I just recently, I would say, retired, but I still sit on the Human Trafficking Task Force. So I'm still affiliated with law enforcement a little bit, but I needed to go outside of those walls and do it the way that Dr. Pullum would do it, and take more of a preventive measure. And reach out to our youth or to our families that's actually being hurt. I love families. I love children, but I can't work with children without working with the family.
Exactly. And that is a subject most recently, especially domestic abuse. I mean, it has been in the papers, and I'm sure you've heard many stories of many of our athletes, and unfortunately, even very recently, there are even some in the ministry who have encountered or who've gone down that path. And someone with your experience can really, really be a galvanizing force and very resourceful because so many, I'm sure you've experienced this also, Dr. Pullum, so many women are crying in silence, and I guess you can say in the dark, or their voices, they're hoarse, figuratively speaking. and they don't have a voice, and they're fearful, of coming forth, fearful of maybe even leaving the comfort of the situation that they are in. But I'm grateful to God for putting you in a place, although you're I would say, retired, just like Samuel. They wouldn't let him rest. They would not let him rest, Dr. Pullum. You're semi-retired, but you're still such a very much-needed voice. Your bio also said that you are a visionary coach. Share some of that with us as far as your posture as a visionary coach is.
Well, as a visionary coach, it's something that I just do naturally. I push people into their purpose. And so my theme is that if you have a vision, you write it down, I'm going to help you bring it to life. I'm going to help you make it plain, because there's so many of us that have ideas or we have a vision, and it's just sitting there, and we're not doing anything with it. So I'm like that coach. I'm going to push you into your purpose to make your vision come true.
Right.
Because a lot of people have been through things that I've been through, or they're dealing with their own situations, and they feel like, well, I'll never be anything. I'll never be an entrepreneur. I'll never do this, because, we got to break those generational curses, and that's what the book is about, breaking the generational curses.
Yes, and it's so interesting. I'm sure you're familiar with the gospel artist Tasha Cobbs.
I am. She is part of our church fellowship. We just had a leadership conference this week. That's where I'm at now in Florida.
Oh, okay. Because she has sung a magnificent song, and her song, it's popular. She even won, I believe, a Stellar Award for it, and it's called Break Every Chain.
Yes, ma'am.
So your book says Breaking the Chains. Her song says Break Every Chain. And one thing I love about being able to be used by God is this: no one person can do it all. Bishop Jakes is only one man. Some of the names that, some of the well-known preachers, the Cheryl Brady's, some of the other preachers, they're only one person, and God uses everyone in various areas to do various things. There are many women and men that you yourself can minister to that others may not get an opportunity to or get the chance to. But God has Dr. Catrina Pullum there, pushing people's vision, and it takes a lot of discipline, doesn't it, Dr. Pullum, to push other people, because the scripture says more blessed to give than to receive. There's nothing wrong with wanting to receive, though.
No, not at all. But see, I look at it that I give, and I give freely. I don't give expecting nothing in return.
Yes, ma'am.
The more blessings I get. Now, if I'm doing it just to be recognized or just to be, getting something in return, I cannot accept that. I have to know that I've done my best to serve my purpose for someone else, and God is going to bless me. And that's what I never realized, because I used to question God, and this is what the book is about, was that I used to question God, like, if you love me, I'm going to church, I'm doing what you say do. I grew up in church, but yet I suffered child sexual abuse in the church, not by a family member or a friend, but it was from a leader in the church. I became, my father was not involved. His family was, but he was not involved. I went through being a teenage parent. So I'm like, why is all this stuff happening to me? And even though I went through all those things, I didn't realize till an adult that God was still there with me, because I finished high school on time. I still remained, an honor student. I went on to college. I have several degrees, and going through all of these negative things, my family never knew any of this until my book came out, and they were very supportive, but I was very resilient. And so, I went through all of this, but when I became an adult was when I really knew who God was, because he told me. He told me. So everything that happens to me now, I'm like, okay, I'm going to end up using this as a testimony one day. When I went through this, yes. And so that's how I take everything that I've been through, and I just happen to be a strong one. But I have some people who have been through the same thing, but they didn't have a support system. Me, I kind of supported myself because I kept everything in, and I didn't tell anybody what was going on.
Right, exactly. Wow, and you definitely are resilient, and you are a victor, and I've often heard, this spoken of in pulpits that when a perfect person really cannot help anybody, it's not until you've actually experienced some hard knocks in life, or you've gone down certain dark roads and come through it and come out of it, that you can really be a strong witness for the Lord. And as I stated earlier, Dr. Pullum, on so many different levels, you've done so many different things. You coach leaders. You're also a producer and a manager and a business. I tell you, you have so many hats. I don't even know what to call you other than a phenomenal woman tonight. So share with us that aspect.
Yeah, a lot of it just kind of snuck up on me. I was in the middle of working on my clinical masters in social work, and I got the opportunity to. I've always done business. I have an MBA, all of those things, and someone asked me. That goes back to that vision. Can you manage me? Can you coach me? Can you manage me? Can you coach me? And so I was like, yes, I've managed corporations and stuff like that. So one thing led to another, and the business just picked up so fast. When I say fast, it picked up so fast, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of preparing to graduate from getting a master's in social work, and I'm like, God, what are you doing? I've always, like I said, I've always been in the church. I've always been into gospel. That's always been my field. And so he told me at the end, he said, you got this social work degree so you can learn how to work, so you'll be able to work with all the different personalities that you're going to meet out there in the entertainment industry.
Amazing.
So, I just start questioning God and be like, okay, it's a purpose to it. So we're still doing the producing, like we do commercials as well. So now we're getting into the film. I have done some producing on some films, but I'm getting ready to work on my own short film. And then I have a screenwriter that's preparing to write the script for my book.
Wow. That's amazing.
So, yes, ma'am.
You are doing it, and I would like to add the word all at the end of that statement, okay?
Yes.
Dr. Pullum, and we need you. And when I say we need you, not just the women in the church, but women in general, we need one another. And there's nothing like looking at someone, again, who has gone through and who has made it through. Because when we make it through, we become God's trophy. And we start making him look good. We look good, too. But most importantly, we start making God look good to others. And it says to them, you know what, I've gone through this, I've gone through that, I've gone through hell in my life. But look at me now. And you can truly and honestly say, Dr. Pullum, you have a tremendous and a phenomenal testimony of what God has done in your life and holding things in for such a long period of time. Did you ever want to tell anyone, Dr. Pullum, what you was going through, or you just knew if I tell them it's going to be over, I may lose my family? Because
I was just afraid that I would get in trouble.
Okay.
I was scared about that, and then I always wanted to have, like this wasn't supposed to happen to me. This doesn't happen in my family.
Right.
So it was more of that image thing. It was more of the image. So that's even when the book was ready, ready to come out, I still was kind of worried about the image, but I was glad that whatever I went through actually came out. And, and just like I told him, it's not a tell-all book or anything.
Exactly.
It's a book to help. It's a book to help. And like I said, when I did the book, I told God, I told the people who advised me about doing the book that I would only do it to help people, not to bash anyone or anything, but to help people. because I just, whenever I get on Facebook, I have seen where people didn't even tag me, but they mentioned my name. Because reading Dr. Pullum's book, Breaking the Chains, I'm going back to school. I'm being encouraged to do this and do that. And that is what makes me proud. As long as I know someone is getting some help, I get texts, I have people calling me. When I initially did the book, it was just supposed to be for women and teen girls. I have all races purchasing the book. I have men purchasing the book. I have boys, teenage boys, wanting a copy of the book as well. Amazing. So it's open to everybody.
Right. That's a blessing. And that's also a sure enough confirmation to you that God did tell you to put that book out there because of the turnaround that you're starting to see. And I'm sure nothing gives you more pleasure than to hear someone say, my life has been changed, or I've read your book and I used to be this way, but now I'm a different kind of way. And no amount of money can even pay to get that kind of satisfaction because you're changing lives. And that's what we're called to do. We're called to be examples because that's what Jesus did. And if we're following him and walking in his footsteps, lives have to be changed, and we are the conduit that God utilizes for that. So, okay, Dr. Pullum, we have a few more minutes left. This is what I ask all of the individuals, celeb or not, that I interview. If you had the ability to put your hands on top of one another and blink like Genie, what would you make happen?
Oh, wow.
That's the same thing they would say, too.
Yeah.
They would say the same thing.
Wow. But for me, because, like I said, I'm passionate about really child sexual abuse, domestic violence, women and females that are hurting. Just to have a safe haven. I would want a safe haven for them to come to, for the victims.
Right.
And at the end of the day, there are perpetrators out there, but I always tell people, we put them in jail, but guess what? They don't get rehab. They don't get rehabilitation. They sit there and they waste their time sitting in prison, or they get in a trade or education or whatever, but no one is ever addressing why they did what they did. They did it, but no one ever takes the time to get down to the root, because guess what? When they get out, they're going to do the same thing again. And you see this a lot, is that when you have an abuser who gets out of jail, he may stay out 3 to 6 months. He's back in jail doing the same thing.
The same thing over and over and over again. Well, that's a wonderful thing, Dr. Pullum. You would get rid of all of the, you would have a safe haven for all of the men, the women, and those who abuse to go to, and that's a good thing too. What is Dr. Pullum's favorite color?
Oh, royal blue.
Oh, that's nice. Very nice. What is Dr. Pullum's favorite food?
Seafood. I'm from Louisiana. So I love seafood.
Okay. Do you have a favorite actor or actress?
Oh. Besides, I love Denzel.
I knew you was gonna say him. I'm a prophetess. I knew it. I just knew it.
I love Denzel, but I love Lamont Rucker too, and I love Lamont Rucker because I've had a chance to sit with him and spend some time with him and see that humanitarian side of him. Youth are really like his passion, and so I've had for the last 2 years I sit on the board for a youth group, and he's come down and actually got in to see, not just come because we pay him to come to go speak at an event, but when he comes, he wants to see the type of work that's being done in New Orleans and those places, and so he's really serious about the kids. And so I like him as well. Now, my favorite actress right now is Kerry Washington because, I'm known as the fixer. I fix the problems, too, so I really like her.
I like that. The fixer. Maybe you should brand that, Dr. Pullum, with some coffee mugs. No, Dr. Pullum, I'm serious. I'm very entrepreneurial-minded, too. Maybe you should brand the fixer. I have yet to see that or hear that. Okay, we have Iyanla Van Zant, Iyanla Fix My Life, and next week we're going to have...
I love her. I had a chance to interview Iyanla at Essence. So I love her as well. Yeah, and I follow her. So,
But you are the fixer. Oh, I'm going to have to run with that. Dr. Catrina Pullum is the doctor. I love that, and I pray and hope that you brand it and run with it. I am serious. It came out of your mouth, Dr. Pullum. I didn't say it. It came out of you. That must have been the spirit.
Look. She just reminds me so much of me. Except no, I don't mess with fits or anything like that. I'm happily married. So,
yes,
before as everything else, for as, taking care of business, that's me. Okay, it's a problem. Don't panic. How can we fix it? How can we make it better? Okay, this has happened, but let's fix it.
Right.
Let me help you clean up your mess. I'm going to teach you how to clean it up, though.
Excellent. You're going to bring the broom and the mop. I totally understand. Well, Dr. Pullum, we have thoroughly enjoyed you on this call so very much. Hold on one moment. I'm going to stop the recording. Hold on one second.